Welcome to episode 111 of the Ultra RC Hobby Show, Weekly. Now, as you remember from last week, me and Aaron are not doing anything together. We're practicing our social distancing, so Aaron will be doing his own little segment. You know what we do on the show. We do custom builds, we do customer builds, we race all across Canada, we do special electronics, we do all sorts of stuff like that. And we also do how-to videos. So this week, I will be showing you how to install the lights on the Axial Capra, and then I'll also be installing some Vanquish links. Incision links, but Vanquish will be that home company. Today I am working on my Traxxas Max, getting it put back together, but you won't see that until next week because it's going to take me forever to put this together. So, let's just get right into it. UDR. The UDR. Wait, we're not talking about that today. Gotta get this out of here. Okay. We're not talking about UDR today. Sorry, buddy. Clear off the bench. What are we talking about today? What do we got? The Axial Capra. So, this truck belongs to our good friend Jonathan, good customer. And we've been doing some work on it. So yesterday I installed a Power HD 25 kg servo along with a Hobbywing 1080 and a Holmes Hobby 35 turn motor. And these sweet Proline Hyrax and Method B-Lock wheels. So he's pretty well set off here. He's got a good start. But we want to do a little bit more. So we've got the Incision stainless steel links. So this is going to be really nice for low down weight, really good combination with the wheels. So all that weight's going to be right down off the springs and going to be really planted. And as you can see this hanging on here, we're also doing some lights. Because the stock front headlights were wired into the stock speed controller, we decided not to use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the Yeah Racing light kit. And I'm going to put in 2 headlights to replace the front ones we took out. And then I've also got this already started, is I'm going to install 2 tail lights as well. So they're going to shoe right in there, and they're going to just be pointing right out for when he's crawling on the trails. Keep that back end lit up. So let's tear into this bad boy and find the missing link. I've got the skid plate all taken apart. Transmission's off to the side here. Here's our undercarriage. The links are all lying out here. The links will be next. So they're just taking off the skid plate. They're all just hanging out here. So the next step is to route my headlights all the way into there. They're way down. You can see the hole. You can see the hole right there. See it? So I'm gonna route them into there. Now, I got myself a bunch of zip ties and a little bit of shoe glue, and there's also some wiring loom holders here for me to use. So we're going to make this as neat and tidy as we can, and get all the wiring so it's nice and easy to work on for the next time, and it's easy to pull apart. And we'll get it all lit up, and then we'll work on the links. Oh, there we go. We've got the front lights all hooked up in there, way down in there. Get this moved here. There we go. Got them tied up there, strapped in there. They're bolted in. They come all the way down to here. And then we've got all of our wiring going to our front and our rear lights that come along here, down inside here. And then also this goes into the light bar. So all your lights are all contained into there in 2 separate packs. And then they're all zip tied to a frame rail so that they're away from all the electronics. So we don't want to get it caught up in that shift servo, or we don't want to get the wires touching the motor either. So keep them all away from that area, and then we're good to go. We just got to power the lights up, make sure everything still works. But first, I'm going to work on the links and get the links put on, and we'll see how that turns out. So we've got it all put back together. The links are in there. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. The lights are working. Front lights. We got our tail lights in there. Real nice. Everything's all wired in. We're going to power it on. We're going to test it out. Make sure it works, right? Oh, we got forward. We got backwards. Do we got dig? Let's try here. Look at that. Oh, we're gonna hit the TV tray. Unlock it. Back out. Look at that. We got our dig unit. Beautiful. We got those Incision links up front. Looking great. The higher axle is looking really nice on there. I think he's gonna be really happy with this. Let's try that dig unit one more time. I think we can get a full turn out of this thing. Actuate it with the remote here. Look at that. Turn it off, roll away.
Okay, as Chris introed today is a little bit different than last week I introed. This week Chris is going to be introing. So what we're going to talk about tonight on my segment is how I keep all my parts and pieces organized per car for going to the track and all of my extra stuff. So let's open up my toolbox. I'll show you how I do it, the personal things I use, and hopefully you get some good ideas to keep your RC car parts and pieces together and organized. So here we go. Let's start off by explaining the toolbox that I use. So this is actually a fishing tackle box. You can get these from Walmart. I think they're 12, 13 bucks. They're quite inexpensive. They come with a whole bunch of extra separators. And the nice thing is the box is quite thick. And you'll see why that makes a big difference come once we open this up. So let's open it up. The only thing that I do differently is normally I will put a sticker on it just signifying the brand. This one's going to be the Team Associated box. This is my Team Associated 8 scale. I run Techno 8 scale E-Truggy as well. So normally what I'll do is I'll put an Associated decal on one, Techno decal on the other, so I know exactly what box I'm looking for when I need parts. Opening the toolbox up. First things first, let's start at the top and kind of work our way over and continue that way. Normally I'll keep all my suspension stuff kind of in one row. So first things first, we got control arms. This is going to be front lower control arm, front upper control arm. You can see I've already used one, so I did buy a spare just to be on the safe side, just in case I break, say, another left one, and I have a spare right one. It doesn't really do me much good when I have an extra right one and not a left one. So that's the first box. Moving on down the line, normally what I'll do is you can probably start seeing is I'll keep all of the parts toppers on. So if you ever do break a part, it's easy to go to the hobby shop and be like, hey, I broke part number 81185 on the weekend and I need another one. So that's normally what I do all the time just because it's a lot quicker and easier for me because I'm kind of anal that way. But moving on the line here, this is all my shock stuff. So we got shock rebuilds, shock boots, shock Delrin guides, pair of front shock shafts, pair of rear shock shafts, and some extra pistons. With these kits, normally you do get a whole bunch of spare parts. So drop them on the floor, keeping them organized to the max. So we keep all of the extra pistons and stuff just in case you might need them, but that is still going to be within the suspension stuff that I will keep all together. Moving on down the line, we get a set of rear arms. So this is all suspension stuff. Now we're going to kind of start moving into some of the other odds and ends that we have. This is still kind of suspension. These are going to be adjustable inserts. I do have a whole bunch extra from the kit as well. But again, all of this stuff stays together in one compartment, so it's easy to find. The other thing I have in this compartment is going to be a set of hinge pins. Highly recommend this for anybody, regardless if you're racing or not. Normally they will get bent, and that is a huge cause of suspension bind and other little things that could make your car not feel the same all the time. Moving on to the next one, this is still kind of in the suspension realm as we do have rear hub carriers, and the big thing with these, and this is normally why I like to keep stuff in the package as well, there's extra little spacers and things in these hub carriers to actually shim your wheelbase. Some kits aren't going to come like this, but that's normally why I like to keep in the bags as well. We have steering knuckles, and we also have some Delrin inserts for the steering knuckles as well. So this is kind of the end of the suspension line. Pretty much have everything in here except for drive shafts, which is a little bit farther down the line. Next, we have kind of a miscellaneous chassis tuning stuff. So in the Team Associated kit, you do get a shorter wing mount. I have purchased the short chassis braces as well, front and rear. These are kind of a good tunability if you have really low grip. Also some extra brass weights that you can bolt into the car for some extra little tuning pieces. So I used my spare stuff on my e-buggy. Normally I would have a diff case in here, and I would also have a spur gear for electric and the nitro. These are just going to be some gear sets in here, and this section would start getting into now drivetrain stuff. This is going to be diffs. Next thing up is Driveshaft Pins. So we have pin tools to actually push these out and insert new pins once they start getting flat spots. This is kind of some extra tuning stuff too. These are going to be extra shock springs. I have a set of front and rear sway bars as well. Again, with all the toppers, just in case. Next thing up that I highly recommend all the time as well is I always keep a spare bearing kit with each toolbox in each car to make sure that I have all the bearings I need at the track. So this is going to be an Avid kit for obviously the RC8B31s, which is exactly what this toolbox is for. Because the nice thing is when I need a bearing for my RC8B, for example, it's going to be in this bearing kit and I know exactly what I'm looking for, and I don't need to go to an extra bearing pile or anything like that and sort through everything individually. So that is a big thing that I highly recommend too. Even if you have a Slash, a Stampede, anything like that, a bearing kit's always necessary, because when you're going through it and you're doing your maintenance, it's always nice to have the reassurance that you have all the bearings you need to put it back together and go play. It's always a pain when you have one really, really bad bearing and you can't put the rest of the car together. This is kind of the miscellaneous pile, I'll call it. It has a lot of different kind of stuff in it. It's mostly all servo related. Other than these, this is going to be an engine mount for my RC8B, my Nitro. The biggest thing is I went to the quick change mount, so I don't need the stock ones. And what everything else is in this pile is going to be some electronics stuff. So this is an electronics tray with some hardware, some extra pieces for the throttle and brake servo. This is going to be an extra throttle and brake linkage, as well as a servo arm bell crank. Usually they are kind of weak, and the servo saver spring will kind of break them apart and they will just shatter. So we do normally adjust those to aluminum, but just in case somebody does need a factory one just to get them by for the day, I do have a spare. And this is all going to be Nitro brake stuff. So front and rear brake, discs, pads, the top plate, some springs, linkages, some extra stuff like that. So there you go. That is a quick guide through my toolbox of how I keep all my parts and pieces separate. It's probably pretty anal for most people. I feel like I'm a pretty clean person, except for when I'm working on the bench. Then there's parts and pieces and tools scattered a little bit of everywhere. But I will say it's organized chaos. That's what I will say. My dad doesn't agree with me, but you win some, you lose some. So thank you everybody for tuning in to episode 110. Chris and I really do appreciate it. But before we say goodbye, don't forget to check out Chris RC Deebs on all his social media pages. So Instagram, Facebook, as well as YouTube, RC Deebs. Don't forget to check out our website, www.ultrarchobbies.com. Don't forget to check out the store on all their social media pages. So Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, as well as Snapchat, Ultra RC Hobbies, really easy to find. And thank you everybody so much. We really do appreciate your support through these tough times. And we will catch you on the next one. So have a great night. Bye.